Okay guys, here we are with 9-7, solving linear and nonlinear systems, 9-7 day 1. Okay, top page of your packet. We're looking at how many solutions are possible with a linear and a nonlinear equation, with the nonlinear equations being one of our conic sections we've been working with. Okay? So with a linear and a nonlinear, we got 0. We could have 1, we could have 2. Okay, that's easy to picture that with an ellipse and a circle. Okay, with a hyperbola, you're like, okay, maybe that's going to be different. Okay, we could again split the middle. Okay, have no points in common. We could have 2 points in common, or we could be just on the edge of it there, just sharing that 1 point in common. Okay, what if we have 2 of our conic sections together? Okay, again, we could have 0 and 1 and 2. But now we can also go 3, 4. Okay? 3 being 1, 2, 3, and 4 we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Another one here would be a circle and a parabola. We could have 0, we could have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those will be some fun ones for you on your homework when we have 4 points in common. Okay? So solving these systems. How are we going to solve these? Okay, we're going to be using our same strategies from Algebra 1, and I think we used them a little bit in Geometry and Algebra 2A. Substitution and elimination. Substitution and elimination. Okay, so A is pretty much set up perfectly for some substitution. We're going to change this one. We're going to divide both sides by 8. That would be y equals negative 10/8 x, which will reduce to negative 5/4 x. We're going to plug that in for y over here. Negative 5/4 x, we plug that in for y, squared, equals 2x squared minus 7. Okay? Square it, we'll have 25x squared over 16 equals 2x squared minus 7. Alright. Fractions are scary. How can I get rid of this fraction? We're going to multiply both sides by 16. By 16 over here as well. Subtract the 32x squared. Divide by negative 7. And x squared will be 16, which means x would be plus and minus 4. Excuse me. Okay? So, x is positive or negative 4. What happens if I use positive 4? What would y be? Okay, well here's y. Y equals negative 5/4 times x. If I put 4 in there, negative 5/4 times 4, y is going to be negative 5. If I put negative 4 in there, I should come out with positive 5 for my y. Okay? So there's my 2 points. 4, negative 5, and negative 4, positive 5 would be my 2 answers there. Alright, so that was substitution. Let's get a good example here of elimination if we can. No, we're going to do another substitution one, I guess. My fault. Okay, we're going to jump down to D. Okay, this one would be pretty close, pretty easy to get one of the x's by themselves. Okay, so we would Maybe you want to add x over, subtract 13 over. So now I got x by itself. We can plug it in up here. Okay, let's simplify this. And let's try to slide everything all the way over to one side. We're going to put everything on the left. And add 39 makes us a plus 12. Okay, so now that's set up. You can do a quadratic formula if you have that program on your calculator, ABC. Okay, or I think it's easier. We could factor. We could just divide all these by 6 and then factor. All right. Now what multiplies to 2 and adds to negative 3? Negative 2 and negative 1, which means my y's are 2 and 1. Okay, now if I put those in up here, what would my x be? We still have this equation for x. X equals 6 times y minus 13, so if I put 2 up there, 2 times 6 is going to be 12, minus 13 is negative 1. If I put 1 up there, I'll get negative 7. So my answers will be negative 1, comma 2, and negative 7, comma 1. All right. We're going to skip over to F. Now we're going to skip over to F. F looks like it's set up for elimination. Okay? Elimination here. I want to cancel out the x's. I'll multiply this whole row by 2. Okay? And now I'm going to add down. Y squared and 6y squared is 7y squared. X's cancel out. That's 112. Y squared would equal 16, which makes y plus or minus 4. Okay? All right. So, now we're going to put this back in for x. Or put this in for y to solve for x. Either one will work. Okay, whichever one you want. What if I put this one up here? So if I put this up here, 4 squared is going to be 16 minus 2x squared equals 8. Subtract a 16, negative 2x squared equals negative 8. Divide by negative 2, positive 4, which would make x plus minus 2. So that's going to be 2 comma 4 and negative 2 comma 4. 2 answers each. Okay, so I'm going to have 2 answers for this one. I'm going to have 2 answers over here. Okay, let's do this again. I'm going to put negative 4 in. Guess what negative 4 squared is? 16. So it's going to be the exact same work. Okay, exact same work. But now it's with a negative 4 at the end. So now it's going to be 2 comma negative 4 and a negative 2 comma negative 4. So this would have 4 points of intersection. Okay, 4 points in common right there. Now we're going to slide over and look at E. Look at this one. Perfect. It's already set to go. Okay? Can add down. 2x squared. These would cancel. Equals 36. X squared equals 18. Plus minus square root of 18, which equals 3 on the outside, radical 2 on the inside. 3 radical 2. Okay, so we set this up like we're going to solve again. We're going to put this 3 radical 2 squared plus y squared equals 16. Well, x squared was 18, if you remember that, so that's going to go here. Subtract that 18. Square root. So y would equal plus minus the square root of negative 2. Negative 2 under the square root. We're going to have an imaginary number. Plus or minus I radical 2. Now, before we get all panicky, what does that I mean, imaginary number? It means that it's not real, right? Our intersection is imaginary. It means our figures won't actually intersect, so we can say no real solutions. And then we're done. So that saved us a little bit of time. And we'll slide up here and look at B. We'll kind of cheat a little bit here. We're going to kind of show you the calculator version on how to do this one. Alright, so if we were doing this, we would divide them all by 5. And I would just leave it like this. Y equals negative 3x plus 34 in parentheses, divided by 5. That's how I would type it into the calculator. Okay, this other one, let's subtract that x squared over. And you're going to square root it. Okay. Alright. So, plus minus. That means we're going to have two of them. We're going to have one, the positive one, and the negative one. We have to type those in separately. Okay, so in my y equals, okay, in my y equals here, we're going to have parentheses negative 3x plus 34 parentheses divided by 5. Saves us from having to mess around with the decimals. Okay, positive square root of negative x squared plus 68. And we want the negative square root of negative x squared plus 68. Graph. Okay, if yours doesn't look perfectly round like that, let's see, zoom, you probably just have it zoom standard, that's fine. And yours is going to look more like an ellipse, okay? Think about why this is. Okay, number one, our screen is already more rectangular than it is square. Okay, number two, because of that, because we're longer than we are taller on the screen, look at the spacing between our tick marks here. Okay, the spacing is a lot wider on the x-axis than it is on the y. So that's going to stretch things out horizontally and make that circle look like an ellipse. Really, that's a circle. Okay, if you want to get rid of that distortion, we can go zoom square. And that's going to balance things out. Okay, that'll balance things out like that. And you'll be able to see where they're crossing in it. We can clearly see that's a circle. Okay, now how do I get those points where they cross? Second, trace, intersect, enter. Okay, it's going to say first curve. All right, that just means like the first piece that you want to be on. Okay, so we want to use this line, number one, got it. Second curve, yep, I want to use that top piece, that top curve of it, got it. And then guess, where do you want it to start checking? Let's take care of this one way up here first. -2, 8 would be one answer. And then let's do it again and try to get this bottom one. Second trace, intersect. First curve, what are we on? Oh, we're on the straight one. Yep, I want that one. Enter. Second curve, we're on the top half of the circle. Yep, that's what I want to use. And what are we going to guess? Now, if you just hit guess right here, it's going to go to the closest one, which will probably put you back here. So you need to slide on down. Get closer to this one. And there we are, 8, 2. Alright, now you're going to want to be able to do it the long way, like we just did here with A, D, and F. Okay, and then maybe just use the calculator as a check if you want, because otherwise that's some tricky work here just to get these, to be able to type them in. If you make one little mistake there, your answer is going to be wrong. It's going to look right, but it's going to be wrong. Okay? So I would feel better about you guys doing this. Alright? So your homework then, where did I put that at for you guys? Here you go. We're going to do page 643, 14 through 25. We're going to skip 21 and 22. Okay, that was exactly 10 problems. 1 point apiece on completion, having those 10 problems done. All right, there you go. That's 9.7, day 1.